Woodstock
The other
99. And I had actually already finished it and watched it in horror. Christina, how did you want to present this?
Well, okay. So first of all, did you ever watch the HBO Max documentary on Woodstock from last year?
Okay,
part of the music
thank you. This is different because fuck that one. Yeah. And I thought we were dealing with the same thing. And I was like, I am not going to watch a documentary that talks about sexual assault and shows tits for the first 5 minutes of the documentary.
Yeah. Let's be clear. This just came out. I believe it was on Netflix.
I'm going to settle down. I just said tits for the first time. I couldn't figure out, do I say boobies? What do I say?
You can say whatever you want to say.
This I want to see then.
This did have some boobs, and they didn't talk about the rampant sexual assault until the end of the second half of it. So the end. They didn't talk about exactly how much rape was happening.
Well, can I just then, because it's a serious subject, obviously, does that something that anybody else like felt like was an issue in the HBO one? Because really it was in the first moments.
So I can't.
It was in the first 5 minutes. Then they do the montage and, the voices talking about it. And they're just showing like topless women. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing? You're doing the thing.
Right. Yeah. I think this one was better than the HBO one in that regard because the way that it progresses. So it's 3 episodes. So it's like, I guess it's probably 2.5 hours if you were to add it all up. But they do it in 3 parts. And the way that they kind of, tell the story, a lot of it is told through footage that people on the ground were taking and some people who were, part of the festival. They have talking heads with performers, but also with some of the MTV people who were there and whatnot.
Even a couple of attendees, Beavis and Butthead in attendance.
Beavis and Butthead. Oh, these 2 guys, these 2 16-year-olds who were like, one of them seriously like sounded like he was stoned. He had a mullet, like genuinely looked like live action Beavis.
Totally.
It's amazing. But I think it was better than the HBO one. But I think to tell the story, like you have to they went through like day by day, like hour by hour, basically like how the event unfolded.
Yeah.
And in that regard, I think that it was okay to not lead with the sexual assault stuff because that's not like that happened at the beginning. Like it started out as this great thing. Everybody's having an awesome time. Then it starts to get crazier, like the first night with Korn, right? Where things start to get a little bit out of control. And then like Gavin is able to calm things down because he's a pro and he knows how to handle a crowd. But then they have their first rave and shit kind of gets wild again. And then the second day, it's like people start to get a little more riled up, a little bit bigger. That's when you have like Limp Bizkit come in. Then you have Fred Durst, fuck him, right? Like when he's, doing that thing. And then you have like people literally like commandeering cars and trying to drive through the rave area and like Fat Boy Slim having to like end his rave set. And people, that is when they first talk about like sexual assault. And then the third day when it just evolves into chaos. So like I actually thought that the way that they told the story was really good because you felt the emotion of this thing, which seemed like, I think for a lot of people, even people who were there who witnessed all the horror, like they said, like they had a great time. Like if you weren't, somebody who was like a hurt or whatnot, like you could see that it would be this crazy ass thing, but you could still maybe have had good memories with your friends. But how this event that was just mishandled by the people who were running it, the promoters, the fucking criminal, right? Like they're the ones who really
intentionally obtuse, in my opinion.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like this one fucking promoter, like the guy who's dead, I don't give a shit. The guy who created Woodstock, fuck off, dude. Like he can seriously, like, I don't give a shit. But there's this other guy who was like the money guy because they'd lost money on Woodstock 94 and they were like, okay, we got to make money on this one. And when he's asked about the sexual assault stuff at the end, he's like, well, I'm not saying that it's good, but this was like a small city. And if you look at the number of rapes that happen in a small city, this is actually less than that. And I wanted to reach through the television screen and like kill the guy, right? Because it's just not the response. But
so you doxed him instead?
Well, I mean, but what I was like, I want to get your thoughts, Brett, but what I thought was really interesting about it was like, I was brought back to that time, and I remember wanting to go to that concert so badly. And obviously my parents wouldn't let me go, right? There was no way they were going to let me go to upstate New York to go to a concert. Like, they would never in a million years. I was in high school. I was like 15 or 16. They would never let me go. But I remember watching it, and I was brought back to like the way that it unfolded, and the way that, like, not only did they have the pay-per-view, but like MTV was playing stuff live and like was reporting on stuff. And the fact that you saw it as that weekend went on, you saw the same shift that you could feel the crowd have, where it like went from this thing that was great into this thing that was just terrible.